Somehow we open up to others when on foot. You'll find these possibilities waiting ahead. And of course, there are always dogs in the vicinity. The street dogs of Karachi and Delhi, vicious and sometimes friendly. Dogs that the writers take out themselves. There's Pancho in Wiltshire and Go-Go in East London. And the whippet who puts a paw on his master's thigh. "Get up from your desk and take me out," he's obviously saying. But before you meet this pair, in West Cornwall, the road stretches out before you, the walker listener, happy, I hope, in possession of this audio ramble. And whether solo or with others, on a peak or on a street, in the light or in the dark, taking that dog or dogless, here's to being encouraged, moved and amused by the global footfalls to come. Perhaps in these times we should be walking more than ever. Perhaps we are due a golden walking age. If so, let the cavalcade be off. Forward, avanti, avanza, zenjinzuru. Duncan Minshull, editor of Where My Feet Fall, Going for a Walk in 20 Stories.
Walking, a Departure, by Richard Ford. For me, preparing for a walk is a pretty simple matter. I don't come from a line of experienced sporting exerters and was never a very impressive athlete. So about all I'm willing to do to ready myself for a walk is rustle up a pair of not totally inappropriate shoes, sneakers, or even deck shoes, though not wingtips or flip-flops. Mostly I attire myself in whatever I happen to have on when the walking mood strikes me, garments attuned more to the weather than the walk, and certainly nothing walk-specific. Nothing like those ball-smusher lycra tights serious cyclists wear that make me uneasy about the men who are wearing them. I don't do a lot of walk-anticipating, in other words. Doing more would make it seem more serious than I am. I definitely do have to decide to walk, however, rather than, say, just ambling out the front door and heading off. At certain times of the year, I will walk most days, though certainly not all days, and not at all times of the year. Sometimes I walk 4 miles, mostly less, though never at a fast clip. Nothing's instinctive or habitual to me about walking, other than walking across the room to fetch something I want or walking the dog. That is, walking towards a specific goal. Walking I do for, you might say, walking's own sake, is not quite a duty, yet is something less than a pleasure. More like going to a slightly boring job where I'm the boss. At its best, for me, walking can be akin to taking a medium-length economy-class train journey, where I can put my nose to the cool window glass and let the world course past me as in a dream. I tend to walk only at the ends of days, since my earlier hours are generally full of interesting, significant activity I want to do more than I want to walk. I definitely don't need to physically warm up to walk, to stretch, or do deep knee bends, which I always do for playing squash. The nearest I come to warming up might be mentally scrimmaging with the inertia which can easily convince me not to walk at all, but instead to read a book or watch something on TV or have a drink. Of course, if I can persuade my wife to walk with me, it's always better. We can talk while we're walking, which takes my mind off what I'm doing. Walking alone, frankly, is always a test of my patience. I mostly walk the paved streets in our little town, here on the Maine coast, where there are houses and cars and other pedestrians, but also woods, where there are